Steven, I'm feeling the jet lag, man. Oh, I need to go to sleep. It's like a fog. I'm in a fog.
Steven, I'm so jet lagged. I've been whipped by the jet lag.
I bet. How many days did it take you to recover?
I don't think I'm still recovered. I mean, I got back Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, stayed up till midnight, went to sleep because I wanted to stay up because I didn't want to, take a nap and then not be able to sleep. Did like 6.5 hours roughly. Not great sleep going into Sunday, but got up Sunday, beautiful day out. Went and rode my bike for 20 miles. That was the first thing that I did because,
sounds like a great idea.
Well, it was because I didn't feel great getting up. But then if you just lounge all day, you're not going to get the body and the system flowing again. So I got on my bike. I did my 20 miles. I came back, did my lunch, went to the studio, did some work. Eagles played, and I was sitting on the sofa after I got Kitty back. And like 3:30, 4 o'clock, I was like, I'm done. And I went upstairs and just zonked out till 6:30 when I went to dinner with Troy. I woke up at 6:30 and I was like, already? I was dead. I was dead to rights, man.
Oh, it took me a good 3 days, I'd say, to get fully back to normal sleep schedule wise.
You were only away for 5.
Well, I was away for a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were away for a full 2 weeks, so you really got used to that Japan sleep schedule, which they're 13 hours ahead of us?
Yeah, 13 hours ahead of us on the East Coast.
So 3 a.m. here would be 4 p.m. there. And
I got used to the time, though. I'm like, oh, my clock says 3, which means it's 4 o'clock at home.
It was easy to know when to call home because I would try and talk to my wife, and the only time I could speak to her was at
my wife
was 7 a.m. because it'd be like 6 p.m. here, which is right before my daughter usually goes to bed. Really, again, the only time I could talk to both of them while we were there. But yeah, I'm back to normal. Obviously, it's been over a week for me, but I figured it'd take quite a few days for you to get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where you just feel like you're in a fog for a little bit, and then it's just, I'm eating fine. Sleeping is a little better right now. But yeah, the first, going into Monday, I went to bed at 11, and then I rolled over, it was 1, then it was 3, then it was 5, and then my alarm went off for my 6 a.m. workout, so I did my 6 a.m. workout. All that's great. The energy's there in the morning, and it's usually by the evening you start to feel zapped.
I tried to push myself to stay up till midnight and then go to sleep on a normal schedule or whatever, but I couldn't fall asleep. I would sit there for the first 2 nights and just my mind was racing because I was wide awake still on Japanese time.
Nah, it's because you're a little bitch.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was able to do it. So hopefully the fully rest stuff will be fully kicked in this weekend. And now it's just back to the swing of my normal routines here in Philly, which is not the best of the best with Honor Sir all the time, but it is what it is.
Yep.
And you got baseball playoffs coming up, and I don't even know if I have my pass yet. So it's just that stuff becomes more wearing on my brain because it's like you shoot all year, and then now it's like still up in the air whether I'll get a pass for Saturday's game. And
didn't that happen last year too?
It happens every year.
You got the pass after the first game?
No, that was the beginning of the season this year.
Okay,
that was opening day. But I'm trying. We'll see what happens. I don't really want to put my brain through that right now.
Well, the first game is what, this Saturday?
Yeah, first game is Saturday.
Well, you don't have much time to get the pass.
Well, the thing is, I texted my contact on the 25th, right? Giving myself plenty of time, but didn't hear back, and then texted back on Tuesday and was like, well, no one's in the office to do it. And I don't even want to really go into it. I don't know. I did what I should do, but whatever. So on the airplane, I watched Walter Mitty. I talked about that.
Classic,
I think.
Yeah.
It's a good movie for photographers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how other people see it that aren't creatives or photographers, just because I'm not going to give away the ending, but the way that it ends always gets me every time. It just gets me every time because it's so true. And it resonates with me deeply because it's what I do. And so I just like the movie. I mean, I explained it in whatever write-up I did recently where it was like, it's a movie about a guy who has never experienced life until he experiences life.
Yeah.
And he so happens to be a negative organizer or in charge of the negatives for a magazine before digital. So that was, I mean, it just holds true.
We've definitely discussed this movie several times on this podcast because it is one of the great photography related movies ever made. I
may or may not have texted Ben Stiller as soon as I landed to just tell him what I thought. I didn't get a reply, but I did do it. I did do it.
Oh, nice.
Send a message. I'm like, look, I'm just going to say this. I know it's an older movie, but it still hits me every time, and it's just true, and nice job. So not that he needs to hear that from me. That leads us into what I wrote about the travel lies. I had a bunch of ideas in my head when I was flying. I always do. Like when I'm flying, I try to disconnect as much as possible on the plane. I don't connect to Wi-Fi. I don't want to be scrolling. I don't want to do the same things that I always do when I'm at home. And
even on a 14-hour flight?
Yeah, I don't care.
Wow.
I just want to be gone. I just want to be gone. What am I missing? Like whatever. What am I going to be able to do?
See, for me, that's the only free time I get. I really don't have time to catch up on a movie or a series or anything.
For me, it's just disconnect.
For you, it's the opposite. You have so much free time during the day.
I'll watch a movie or something on the plane or watch a show. Like I think I mentioned that I watched The Office, the first season of it, and now I have to find if it's on Netflix or something or wherever it is to watch the rest of it. But you know, I just like to reflect on whatever. My brain just soars. It's always the same thing. Maybe it's the lack of oxygen, but it's I'm pretty lucky to get to do what I get to do. I'm flying home from an amazing trip. I'm sitting in business class, lounging, right? Like doing the things that, 15, 16, 17, 20 years ago, Jared would not, I don't know.
Ever dream
Maybe
of.
I thought I should always been there. Like I always do.
You definitely did.
I don't hold pull punches and think that I could never imagine myself doing that. No, fuck yeah, I could fully imagine myself doing that shit.
You
and felt like I belonged
all
there.
of this from day one.
I don't manifest. I don't believe in that. I just
kidding.
do.
Yes.
I know, but people always talk about like manifestation. Well, what about all the bad shit that happens to you? Like you always seem to ignore that. Just fucking go on an even keel.
Yep.
So anyway, the title I put on this was "They Are So Fake: The Travel Lie." And why don't you tell me what you wanted to tell me? And I was like, why don't you save it for the show, Steven?
Oh, I was just saying it was a really good write-up. I like the very transparent, honest, long-form pieces that you do. This one was more about like reflecting on your time away and traveling in general. I think it was just a very relatable piece, how traveling isn't all it's cracked up to be, how people over glorify places they've been, hype it up way too much, how if you don't feel the same way, then maybe you did something wrong. Not every food you eat in a foreign country has to be life-changing or amazing. It could just be okay, and that's totally fine. What you see online are people's highlight reels from traveling, their quick snapshots in their day, not accounting for, say, the 6-hour journey to get to said destination or the agonizing plane or train ride. I feel that way personally about vacations a lot. It's a lot of work just to get there. And then you ended it with a really well thought out piece about the movie Walter Mitty and how it related to photography and your journey and stuff like that, which I'll save that for people to read on their own. But in the end, it was a solid think piece and I really enjoyed reading it.
I mean, I've gotten really good at writing scripts. I'm really good at it.
It depends.
No, fuck you. For those who didn't read it, you can go to froknosphoto.com. It's there under They Are So Fake: The Travel Lies. It's there. Just click on everything. You'll be able to scroll down and do it. It's like 1,400 words, so I'm not going to read it all right here. But it really talked about my trip, but also this idea that these quote unquote travel influencers, which is every 20 something who has wanderlust, who travels through Japan before they actually have a life and think that they're important. I'm important. They're not. I'm actually an influencer. They're not. How's that sound, Steven? Is that pretentious?
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. So it's really about them being like, oh, when you go to Japan, you have to check out this viral vending machine. If you don't go and do this in Kyoto, you are missing out. You must do this. And so these ideas that are being perpetuated by these quote unquote influencers is that you have to go do this shit. And if you don't do it, you fucking failed. And then and then you go and do this stuff and you're like, well, this stuff is stupid. It's not true, right? You need to make your own way to a lot of this stuff.
I think it's true to certain people, but for the most part, I think it's embellished, it's exaggerated. It's the way they describe it makes it seem like it's the greatest thing ever. And then you go there and you're like, wait, what? I was supposed to go to 7-Eleven and it's just another 7-Eleven with fresher sandwiches and food. There's not much more to it. You know what I mean? Like that was the big thing for me. My wife was like, go to 7-Eleven. It's the greatest thing ever, I heard. Japan's 7-Eleven is so clean. You get there and it's just like, but it's just another 7-Eleven for the most part. Yeah, a little cleaner. Yeah, a little better food, but still a 7-Eleven at the end of the day.
Yeah, my issue is more so that people will go do these things and then they'll be disappointed, but then they'll perpetuate the fake stuff because they'll go on Instagram and be like, I found the vending machine with the water bottle that when you open it turns into jelly. Wow. It was like amazing. And then I stuck my penis in it and it was amazing.
Oh, okay.
It is so good. I went to Don Quixote and they had a great section of dildos, which they did. They really did. But no, it's more so about everybody being like, you need to do this and this and this. Then you do this and then you know that you don't like it, but you don't want to be the downer. So you perpetuate the bullshit by saying the same thing, being like, oh, I went and did this and it was so amazing. I found this matcha drink and it was great. But all this stuff forgets the fact that you still have to travel to these locations. And they're like, oh, you need to do this on the outskirts of Kyoto and you need to go on this water rafting ride. And it's like, right, but you do realize that you're an hour outside of the city, so you have to get there. Then you have like the 2-3 hours of the excursion, and then you have whatever to get back, another hour, and then you've used your day. So I'm not saying it's a bad use of your time. I'm saying that you have to be realistic and understand that this stuff takes time, and that if you want to go do a certain thing, you have to allot for that. And I've seen way too many temples. Like, I do not care about seeing 73 freaking temples. I mean, that's great if you're into that. But if you've seen one, you've basically seen them all. And it's like, the tour guide takes you somewhere and you're like, cool, saw it. Like the Golden Pagoda, right? We went to the Golden Pagoda. So you look at it and you go, oh, okay. Now what?
See, I would have liked to learn more about the history of it. I feel like our trip was really cut short because every location we went to was, hey, you have 40 minutes to get back to the bus. Go take a picture and come back. That's basically my experience of Japan for the most part. People are like, hey, how was it? I'm like, well, I was in a Canon building for 2 days and then got to experience Kyoto for maybe 3 hours. And then I was stuck on a train most of the rest of the trip, minus the final day, which in my opinion was one of the best days because we did sumo, which was just insane. That was actually pretty cool, I think.
You must go to sumo wrestling or else you failed. I thought it was cool.
I think that was a lot different than being like, hey, here's a temple, look at it, take a mental snapshot and walk away.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll say the one of the coolest things I did is when I decided to, veer from my Osaka plan that the tour guide had. And I mean, I had enough by Osaka. It was like day 13 for me. And I'm just like, I don't want to walk to another temple and I don't care. And like Dumbori Street, there's like, this is where people take pictures. I'm like, I don't care where other people take pictures. All right. That's not how it works for us. We need to live in a place. We need to be immersed in a place for hours to feel the images and see them and capture them. Not, oh, this is a place where people take pictures. How do you fucking know? Like, you're not a photographer. Like, no disrespect, but, so I finally went off the beaten path because my tour guide was like, oh, there's the tallest building in Osaka with an observation deck. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. She's like, well, you don't want to see that? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, I don't care about a tall building. I don't care about going to the top of it and looking out and being like, cool, I looked over the city. I don't care. But what I did do is went to the baseball game because there was a baseball game for the Hanshin Tigers, which is outside of Osaka. It takes 30-ish minutes on a faster, like on one of their train lines, not the bullet train, but it's on the outskirts. Mm-hmm. I bought a ticket online. It was like $44 plus $15 for fees. And then I went and my tour guide took me out there. She sat at like Starbucks. She didn't want to go. I was going to buy her a ticket, but, and I went, and that experience for me, because I do a lot of baseball here, getting to see different fans and how that interactions work was enjoyable for me. It was something different that I liked. And that's why you can't just do everything that these viral travel hack people talk about, that if you don't go to this hidden thing, then you're missing out. You should try some of the touristy stuff, but also do the things that excite you.
And speaking of that, I think something that excites you are more people, like a person's story, the fans of the stadium, learning how someone crafts a certain thing. That didn't you go to some artist?
I did 2 different artist things. One was a dyer, meaning they dye fabric, which was really cool for kimonos. And I got the whole process of how they like lay down glue on top of a layer of fabric, then put another piece of fabric, and then they use like a silk screen to put this glue on, and they layer it like 40 layers. And then he puts it onto this thing, and he hand dumps, and I have photos of all this, hand dumps different colors in different areas, and then hits a button, and it like infuses it into the layers, and then all the excess water like runs out into a bucket and stuff. And it's just, the colors were so cool. So I have some of the fabric. That's what I was able to get. So I kind of did a photo story of that person. And then I did one at this, off the beaten path. I'm talking like suburbs, like in the middle of nowhere, someone for hundreds of years whose family has made pottery. And I went and I did pottery. I did some of it, and then I took pictures of her doing it. But again, I think the tour guides miss the point. They just take you to these places, and they're like, yeah, you're going to be working with an artisan today. And it's like, an hour and a half of watching them do something, maybe, which is enough for me to do a photo story. But it's like, you guys still miss the point.
Yeah.
So that's on me, obviously. I'm not complaining. I'm saying that's like, just for me to know is like, yeah, I wanted the tour guide. They were very helpful for getting me places, giving me information about certain things. My Hiroshima guy was really good. He had a lot of great information. But still, you need to, when it comes to travel for me, a lot of what I wrote is a lot of this would have been better with other people, like a group.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I was mentally prepared to be by myself for all those extra 8 days and everything. And that was fine. And I would go out at night by myself and walk around the town, go into different bars and just hang out. It's different if you have like 3 people. If you have 3 people and you walk into a bar, you can perch up, you can make small talk with people much easier than just being a random dude showing up and trying to talk to people. And also there's other people that plan better than me. Like they do all the research and they're like, this is a great restaurant. So they make a reservation, and this is a great place we should try. And it's like, awesome. Just tell me where to be, how much it's going to be, and I'll be there. More so than just me trying to, I'm not good at planning that stuff.
I'll never forget the Germany story where we went to like 5 different restaurants at like 10 o'clock at night trying to find something for you.
Wasn't that late,
brutal.
But the food was shit.
It was late. It got late by the end.
It did.
We were at like the 5th restaurant and you're like, no.
That the problem with that was every time you go into a restaurant that's big, it's not good.
Well, I think you just didn't want German food. I think that was the main issue.
Was that Cologne at the time?
That was Cologne, yes.
There was no good food in Cologne.
I think there was one Italian place you ended up going to, right?
Well, that was with Todd. I remember there was more Italian in Berlin, and we ended up having better meals in Berlin. But Cologne was all like fucking pig's feet and pig stew.
Very traditional German food, yeah.
Schnitzel, like fucking shit. And I'm like, this is garbage. No wonder why you guys suck and are so angry and are always like, you fucking eat like garbage.
But back to Japan, though, I think, like you were saying, you want to be immersed in the Japanese lifestyle. You want to get off the beaten path. You want to see what it's like to really live that life for a few days. Like, it's not just taking you to a structure and a tourist location. It's like, hey, I want to be fully immersed in the Japanese culture.
Well, true. But you did notice that we would go off the beaten path, even where the tourist areas were, when we did the Ishiri Shrine, the gate, the Torii Gates one.
Yeah, we tried.
Just went off, but no, we went down the side street.
Yeah, but we had 10 minutes to basically get down to go back to the bus. Like I was rushing down the stairs to get back. Didn't even get to experience it really.
But I was just saying that when you go off the beaten path slightly, even off the tourist areas, even just a block over, it is empty and you're in the real world. Mm-hmm. You're in the real, where the real people are living. And then you realize, well, everywhere is the same in the world. People get up, they go to work, they eat, they go to bars, they play, they sleep. Like it all becomes the same, just in a different location. And I'm not trying to be a downer or dissuade people from traveling. I'm just saying the reality of it is that it's all the same wherever you go. Yes, they speak different languages, but everybody in general has the same routines of living, working, playing, sleeping. It's all basically the same. It's just a different place in the world. It's so different. And I've said this a bunch. Like if you were traveling to Japan in 1894 or 1896 or 1852, right? Even 1907, you go to these places, it's totally different because you may have seen a photograph from a place, or you haven't seen much, or National Geographic. I don't even know what year National Geographic started. Let's get out to Google. 1888. So like they didn't really have a lot of photos in 1888 showing you stuff. They had illustrations. But that's the thing is, back in the day, you went to Paris, you went to on a safari, you did any of that shit back then, you were seeing something you've never, ever encountered before, and you can't exactly just text on your phone to home and say how everything's going. 4 months later, you may show up, or a letter somehow got back. And so
we weren't all connected. Yeah, every culture was doing what they were used to. They didn't get to experience or understand or see what other people do around the entire world. So yeah, obviously it's going to be much different back then.
Yeah. So anyway, go read what I wrote. I think it will resonate with you. It's okay not to like the things that other people say that they like. And I use the point of In-N-Out Burger. Everybody's like, made my first stop out of LAX at In-N-Out Burger.
I think of the Philly reference, like Pat's and Geno's. You got to get a cheesesteak from Philly. It's like, all right, well, actually, they're pretty shitty if you really eat them here. You don't go to those places. You go off the beaten path to more of a small mom and pop cheesesteak place, and then you'll really get to experience a true Philly cheesesteak.
Someone told me, and I forgot about this, that there is a Philly cheesesteak place in Tokyo, and we should have gone. Because they did a pop-up in Philly recently.
It's probably better than Pat's and Geno's, I bet.
Oh, it is. It is. There is a Taste of Philly in Tokyo. Japanese couple serves Philly cheesesteaks at a Tokyo restaurant. And so we should have gone there.
It'd be funny if they like spoke the Philly lingo, like saying John or something like that.
Yeah. We're like, how may I help you guys?
Use guys.
Are you from Delco? Hey, can you answer the phone? The phone is ringing. Go to Wawa. When you go in there and I ask for I go in there and ask for water. It'll be like, yeah, can I get a water? Because you say water, they're like, what do you mean water? What's water? You mean water? Anyway, let's put a kibosh on the Japan trip. It is over and done with. Except for I'll share pictures at some point. I'm almost done editing most of my stuff. But Stephen, I want to add that the last boot camp of the year is coming up Saturday, October 11th. It is really soon. There are still some tickets available. Yeah, next weekend. There are still some tickets available. So if you want to join, go to bit.ly/fro1011 because 1011, October 11th. I'd love to see you here. Means? Yes, that's what that means. Then there were a few questions. People were like, well, if I buy 2 tickets, is there a discount? Well, what I've done for people in the past that have come as a couple is I offer a mentorship after the fact, which is a $250 value. And if there's 2 of them, that's a $500 value. So yeah, if you do buy 2 tickets, that is the little something that I do. But I don't devalue the tickets themselves. I just give a little incentive after the fact on my own time if you do decide to pick up extra. But there are a handful that are available. I did have one person, unfortunately, that had to back out. So we do have tickets available. bit.ly/fro1011. If you do have any questions, because it is coming up quickly, you could email me at support@fronowsphoto.com. The next thing that happened in the photo news world is that word came down that Creative Live was shutting down on December 31st. For those who don't recall Creative Live, it was launched in 2010 by Chase Jarvis and Craig Swanson. Craig Swanson is an entrepreneur who invested in a lot of things, and Chase Jarvis was the go-to social media photographer guy of that age. Yeah. He was the guy. Mm-hmm. Like Apple brought him in to teach different iPhone courses. He had an app that was before Instagram that was for sharing images. He was a photographer doing Real Deal magazine work, and he started Creative Live, which was a way to help photographers and other creatives through education online through live broadcasts that they would hope that they would then go ahead and sell and people would buy. And it was super influential at the time because they built a massive base because they gave it away for free if you watched it live. and it might be a day or two or sometimes 3-day seminar that you could watch live. You could tune in, take notes, and watch. And if you miss something, you might have to go back and maybe buy it. But you said that you learned a lot from it.
I still remember vividly watching Jasmine Star's faux wedding day shoot, where they literally recreated a fake wedding and live streamed the entire thing, following her as she did formals, the ceremony, everything, the reception. I want to say it was a 2 or even 3-day photo shoot. But I remember watching that live when it took place back in, I think, 2010, maybe 2012. It was that early era of Creative Live. And there were a lot of other courses and tutorials I watched, mainly on like the Photoshop end, the more technical stuff. I like to watch a lot of that. But I will say, I don't think I've ever purchased a course from Creative Live, but I definitely learned a ton. And this is when I was in college. So, I didn't have much money to purchase it, but I learned a lot. It was a great outlet to learn photography.
And a lot of, so I didn't go on there for a couple of years. They did a creative week and I went on and did something. That's where you would go on for like a couple hours, not a full on session. And I was brought in to do something to Seattle to do that. And what I learned is there were photographers that got the Creative Live bump, because they didn't have a big following. So they didn't have a following at all. Then they would go on Creative Live and that would totally help them. And they would also sell a lot of stuff. And then I would go on and I did do my own course, and I knew that it was going to be more difficult because I wasn't really gaining much from going on Creative Live because people already knew me. Versus the other people, and I'm not teaching something that's super extravagant. I ended up doing low light photography, which is pretty basic. What I teach is basic. It's basic fundamentals, because I think that you learn the basics and fundamentals and then you grow from there. And by the time you become proficient in that, there's really no extra secrets like Lindsay Adler teaching lighting. But the biggest thing about Creative Live, well, I always found it weird that they would give it away and then expect people to buy it. I didn't know how you were going to make money. Let me just say this, because my premise is fun and informative content, and I give shit away, but I'm not giving away my guides. I'm not giving away the long form stuff. That's the stuff we try to sell.
I just think I think they should have done more of like a live preview. Like you have 1 hour to watch it live, and then you have to purchase the rest of the course or something like that. Some kind of long form preview where you get enough of it, where a taste of it, where you want to then finish the course and buy the rest of it. But the fact that the entire thing was streamed for free, and then if you really liked it, you were expected to buy it after the fact. I just think that was not the right way to go about it, which is why I think they were never profitable.
Well, that I find hard to believe, the profitability part. And I read a GeekWire article, because I did a photo news story on this, and I read the GeekWire article in 2021 that talked about Creative Live getting bought by Fiverr, and they had some quotes from Chase Jarvis, and none of this is in front of me right now, so I'm doing it off my brain because I see pictures in my mind as because I'm seeing it. But Chase Jarvis talked about, it's going to be great going and getting off the hamster wheel of trying to get venture funding, because they raised $60 million for Creative Live.
Wow.
Which is absolutely insane. And then to read, because I thought they were doing so well that's why they were raising money, so that they could expand and explode their profitability.
This is what year? 2018?
No, 2021 is the article, I believe.
That's when they got acquired by Fiverr?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Which is, mid-pandemic, you would think that they were going to be selling a shit ton of stuff.
I would think that's when they were thriving, yeah. When everyone was stuck at home. I mean, we thrived during the pandemic. Everyone was watching YouTube.
Everything.
Everything was doubled.
Everything. So I'm reading the quotes from Chase, and he was talking about, the reason we want to do this is we never really got to profitability. And I was like, well, where did the money go? Because in 2017, they had like 100 employees. And in 2018, they took another $25 or $26 million in funding. And then in 2018, they went down to 25 employees after they got rid of everybody. And you're like,
oh, wow.
Well, where'd that $25 million go? Yeah. Whose pocket? Like, whose pocket did that money go into? Because if you weren't profitable, but you have 25 million and you cut all of your expenditures, where did the money go? And I look at like they expanded, like originally it was all out of Seattle because that's where Chase was. He did Chase Jarvis Live and super impactful early podcast video stuff, really high end. He did it all in black and white, those videos, actually, those podcasts.
Moody.
But, he had the Lumineers on before they were even a thing.
Did he?
Doing
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. He had like probably Macklemore because it was Seattle. He had all these people in before they became much bigger because he was in the pulse of it. He was there.
Was he a Nikon ambassador, by the way? Or did he just shoot Nikon?
I know he shot Nikon. I don't know if he was a Nikon ambassador.
Because didn't he do a lot of the early digital Nikon like promo videos?
He may have. I don't recall.
I recall him. Yeah, I thought he was at least endorsed by Nikon or something.
Well, no, he was early in the game and super influential in that world. I know where I was going with that. So they had their office in Seattle, which is expensive to have offices in Seattle. Seattle's super expensive because of Amazon. But then after they took like even more money, they opened another office in another super expensive place in San Francisco to do live broadcasting. It's just burning money after burning money. This is the type of thing that could be in the middle of nowhere. Case in point, you look at Scott, what was his name?
Kelby.
Scott Kelby in the middle of like outside of Orlando or Tampa. I think it was Tampa, had a compound, which is very affordable in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
You could fly people. The whole point is you fly people in. You don't need a super expensive location unless you buy the building and you own the real estate. But raising all that money, you just sit there and go, you just raised $25 million in 2017. And in 2018, you fire everybody, which is fine. You're going lean. But you never made it to profitability, and that's how you then sell. And you sent to me what Chase Jarvis said yesterday because I don't follow the socials.
Yeah, he basically said that Creative Live is done. He's not been a part of it since 2022. He actually mentioned that he tried to buy it back from Fiverr. I don't know for how much or if he offered anything, but they never responded. I also don't know what Fiverr even bought or acquired the company for. It was for an undisclosed cost, so who knows how much they paid for it to begin with. But I believe he said that they really bought it for taking the data. Not so much to further Creative Live. They ended up kind of running it into the ground just to acquire all of the data, and that it's normal for companies to do that, which I don't know if that's normal. I think it's been normalized, but...
Well, let me just say it said that they had like 10 million users on Creative Live. If they had 10 million accounts.
How far do those accounts go back? Because in my opinion, Creative Live's heyday was from 2010 to 2016. I actually thought I didn't think they even existed past 2018.
Well, they
I was
changed
very
to
surprised.
a subscription model too, I think.
I don't even recall. I stopped following them probably, like I said, around that time, 2018. I really thought they shuttered back then.
Yeah, so it was just when they sold it couldn't have been for very much, but I would think that Fiverr bought it so that they could have access to all of those 10 million creatives so that they could maybe maybe they would become Fiverr customers.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like maybe that's what they did, and it wasn't about the education. And what's crazy, they were probably building Creative Live to the point where LinkedIn bought, what was that woman's name? That Alice Jennifer, it was like a learning platform woman's name. Here, it got bought. Learning for $500 million. Woman's name. What the fuck was it called? What was it called? Come on, lynda.com.
Oh, Lynda. Another website that I completely forgot about. Actually, lynda.com, I did buy a few courses from them. Wow, that's a throwback.
It was acquired by LinkedIn and rebranded as LinkedIn Learning in 2017.
They should not have rebranded that.
Well, they paid $500. I'm pretty sure they paid $500 million for Lynda, and that's in 2017. And Chase Jarvis, that was like the heyday, and that's probably why they got more money.
It was always Lynda.com versus Creative Live. And I kind of preferred the Lynda.com stuff because it was more deep diving into Photoshop and that kind of stuff.
But it was recorded too.
It wasn't all recorded. It was not live streamed.
The live stuff.
Correct. Yeah. And the live stuff, that's the issue with live, is sometimes it's not as good as the pre-thought out, pre-recorded kind of stuff that's put together in a nice, perfectly packaged product. The live stuff, trim the fat, which I don't know if they would do that. I forget if Creative Live would kind of put out a final cut version of the live stream after the fact, or if it was literally just, here's the live stream, and now you can buy that from start to finish, as is. I'm pretty sure I bought a lot of like music production courses because that was when I was trying to go down the route of being like a producer and engineer and recording bands and stuff like that. I think they had a lot of courses on that. Man, I have not heard the name lynda.com in probably 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot more sense that in 2017, when that sold for $500 million, why Creative Live might have been able to grab another $26 million in funding in the hopes that their investors would see a large return that Creative Live could then juice up to do the same thing. But I just think that they blew the money. Like, where'd it go?
I mean, you're right, though. That was the heyday of like online video learning education back then, especially in the creative field. YouTube then kind of took over from there. You know, once like 2012 hit, YouTube really took off like a rocket. But before that, it was the lynda.coms and Creative Live. And there's definitely more. I just can't recall off the top of my head right now.
Yeah. But you wanted me to talk about being on Creative Live.
Yeah, we were there for a few days, and I recall you shooting basketball, like a CrossFit gym session, a concert. They had a little concert stage for you set up with a live performance, which
they
not
had
ideal.
No, they had a little concert stage at first, and I was like, no, I need to be on that stage. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, we switched. That's it.
Let's just say we had, so they give you a producer. The way that it worked is they give you a producer and you work with them leading up to it. And the producer makes all the calls, gets all the shit set up that you need, asks you what you want for lunch, all of this stuff. And our producer was amazing. This guy was unbelievably fantastic. And I'm difficult. And I became more difficult throughout the time because shit was not getting done the way that it was supposed to get done.
Very difficult. Yeah.
Steven, do you remember? No, we also shot in a garage.
We shot classic cars in a garage.
In a low light. Do you remember what happened?
Yes, I remember one of the videographers forgot to hit record, and you were not happy about that.
Steven, I was visibly quiet because if I have nothing good to say, I'm going to get quiet and my face will be angry.
Your face said everything. Let's just say that.
But I had to stay in the moment.
There were a lot of like,
we had
a lot of grunts.
Well, how do you not hit fucking record? One job, bro.
Well, I think you just finished saying something like a real long form piece, some educational piece, and that's when he was like, "Wait, I forgot to hit record. We got to redo it." You're like, "Are you kidding me?"
We just fit whatever. And
you kept looking at me, and I'm like, "Oh, don't say anything. Just let it be. We'll redo it. It's not a big deal."
I did redo it. But the worst we'll just say is the lunch issue that happened.
Yeah.
So they asked me what I want for lunch. And at this time, before, I'm like, I just want a simple lunch. I want grilled chicken, a Caesar salad, and some like mashed potatoes or some sort of potato. I'm like, that's all I want every day. Please. That's all I want is breast meat, white meat chicken. That's it's going to be simple for me. We don't have to worry. That's all I want. And so they take us to lunch the first day, the whole crew and everybody, to a Vietnamese place that didn't have white meat chicken, that served pho at a time when I didn't eat pho yet. And then I don't like shrimp with heads on it.
Yes.
And the shrimp all had fucking heads on it. Now that was then. I ripped the heads off now.
Pretty sure you specifically said too, like if the shrimp have heads on it, I'm not going in or something. And the shrimp had heads on them.
I walked out of lunch
because you're like, all I asked for was grilled chicken, like a grilled chicken Caesar salad type deal, and they couldn't deliver on that. And I think you requested that weeks in advance.
I did. I only asked for one thing. I'm like, dude, I asked for one thing. I'm like, I told you how I eat, and you take me to a Vietnamese place for lunch. I'm like, I have to perform all day. Like, I got to be on.
Yeah.
And so I need to eat a proper meal, and I need something that I know is safe for me and secure and good for me. And this wasn't it. So I walked out of lunch.
Oh yeah.
I walked out, but I went outside. I sat down. I had an email to send, and I just needed to leave because I would just get more angry if I just sat there. So I just went outside for my own well-being.
I don't recall. Did I eat there?
You did. You were next to me.
Oh, okay.
But that was that. So my course, I remember them saying that there were more live viewers for my course than any other course they've ever done. And they were hoping that would translate to sales, which it didn't. It was one of the least sold courses. I think we sold like 9. Like it didn't really sell.
9.
But I told them why it wouldn't sell. I didn't like the price point that they picked. I'm like, this makes no sense. It was a weird price point where, it was like, oh no, what it was they're like, it's normally $99, but if you get it now, it's $89. And I was like, guys, is it ever going to be $99? They're like, well, no, it's going to be this discounted price. I'm like, then you think people are going to feel the incentive to buy for $10? I'm like, say it's $3.99 after and $89 if you buy it now. I'm like, that's what it should be. You want people to incentivize buying it now because if they don't buy during the live broadcast, it goes up to $399. But saying that it's $99 and if you buy it now, it's $89, it's not exactly enticing.
Yeah.
Not rocket science there, people.
Like I said, I never purchased the Creative Live course to this day.
I offered to buy my course. I offered to buy it outright from them. I'm like, I will buy the footage from you guys, and they wouldn't do it because I would have repackaged it myself. Anyway, I did do the Creative Live experience. It didn't go very well for us, but Creative Live shutting down. I didn't know that they were still, occasionally I would get a check for like $40 because you would still get a commission based off of what sold. And I know some photographers that were banking big money off of their broadcasts.
Yeah.
Where, hundreds of thousands of dollars off of it because they were more in depth and more intense than what I offered. And so that was great for them. But, it just never seemed to hit right. And they raised so much money. $60 million is a lot of money to raise to never get to profitability.
Circling back to the YouTube discussion, I do think once YouTube really started to take off, a lot of that online education, a lot of people went to YouTube to search for free education and kind of took away from the Creative Lives, the lynda.com, the profitability of those online educators.
I will say that Craig Swanson, who helped start Creative Live, left Creative Live in 2015, and I'm pretty sure he went out with Sue Bryce to start the Portrait Masters website.
Okay.
And they, Sue Bryce would go on to Creative Live and do like $1 million in sales.
Wow.
Right? And so she didn't get all of that. So she went out and did her own thing with the guy who started Creative Live. They started a platform also that probably did pretty well. There was a platform a couple of years ago that sold that were like, why is something like that selling to someone for education? And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work once you sell it. I don't know. I think sometimes you can maybe get too big, take too much funding, and it just doesn't make sense. Where's the profit?
Yeah.
Let's put Creative Live to rest. May you rest in.
Yeah.
Yes. May you rest in whatever the hell you rest in. All the stuff's going to be deleted. That's crazy.
It's a shame. Such a shame.
I wonder. They should reach out to all the creators and be like, do you want your footage? But who cares at this point? I don't care. It was so long ago. Moving on. I don't know if you follow, celebrity news, but Selena Gomez got married.
Did she?
Yeah.
I know that because you sent me the notes beforehand, but
yeah,
just trying to play it up for the podcast. Did she?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she did.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea.
She got married to a Jew. Benny Blanco, baby. Benny Blanco is a funny fuck. He's on. I don't
really know him.
Benny Blanco.
Is he like plays, a music producer or something?
He is, but he plays on Dave as well. The show Dave.
Is that over, by the way?
Lil Dicky. I don't know if it's over. They did 3 seasons, but it was really good. So let me read you some of Benny Blanco's accolades because he is a hit master. Let's see. His name's Benjamin Joseph Levin. Jew. Yeah. Let's see. Career. Benny Blanco was mentored for several years by Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke wrote a ton.
Wasn't
he
the one that screwed over Kesha?
No, that was Cascade. No, that was someone else. I don't think it was Dr. Luke. Maybe
no,
it
is. Yeah, in 2014, he was involved in a series of lawsuits with Kesha, in which she alleged abuse and employment discrimination, whilst he claimed breach of contract and defamation. The case was settled in June 2023.
Wow. Blanco co-produced and co-wrote many songs, including hits such as Katy Perry's Teenage Dream, Kesha's TikTok,
That's a good
and
one.
Ty Cruz's Dynamite. In 2008, he took part in writing and producing Britney Spears' Circus with Dr. Luke and Claude Kelly. Let's see. On a global scale, Circus, blah, blah, blah. He wrote Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger, Gym Class Heroes' Stereo Hearts. Blanco went on to work on Maroon 5's platinum-selling Overexposed and its lead single, Payphone, featuring Wiz Khalifa. He made a fuck ton of money doing this stuff. Anyway, I like Benny Blanco. He's great. So he married Selena Gomez. I bring this up because they had a photographer photograph their stuff named Petra Collins, who everybody said super influential online. I personally have not encountered their work before.
Same.
What do you think of the photos, Steven?
Well, I don't know if they're actual photos or if they're still frames from like a 16 millimeter, like a film camera, like a Bolex or something, because Selena Gomez shared a carousel of still images. And then at the end, there's, again, like a 16 millimeter film. And it looks also, it looks like basically they took still frames from that film. So I don't know if they're actual photographs.
Let's see. Gomez, who is the most followed on Instagram, they photographed her in soft focus Polaroid and film style frames. So film style frames, or did they actually use the Polaroids, or is it just digitally done?
Dude, it looks like the Zapruder film, like someone taking still frames from that. That's basically what these supposed still photographs look like. And again, when you watch the end, that last carousel video, it looks like they're just stills from that video. So I think Selena Gomez had her take this film, this video of them during the day, and she's probably making some kind of video out of it. And then it looks like she also had a professional photographer take stills of her that day too, because she shared another carousel with more professional looking photos of her in her wedding dress.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, if you look at the second to last one, the second to last post.
Oh, let me look at those. 16 million likes. She looks unfucking believable.
So did she lose a ton of weight?
She's had health issues in the past.
I just thought last year when I saw her, she was significantly heavier. And all of a sudden I saw these pictures and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from?
I think she might have had lupus. She had lupus and she had a kidney transplant. Yeah, she had a kidney transplant in 2017. So she had, part of that might be medication that she was on.
Okay.
To do that. So you might think that I want to sit here and rip on this Petra's photos, but when someone goes into hiring someone they hire them for their style. And if that's what they choose to do for their wedding, that's perfectly fine, whether you agree with the images or not. But seeing that she has other images as well that are more photojournalistic, traditional, not even traditional, just different. I mean, covering all the bases is great. So I think it's interesting. I don't like the aesthetic of these weird, grainy looking things that try to reminisce about a older, different time.
I get the nostalgic aesthetic, the old vintage look, but in 2025, I find it odd to purposely make lower quality images, especially of the most important day of your life, supposedly your wedding day. But like you said, if you cover all your bases, you have the supposed professional photographer along with this person, this influencer creator making this vintage film for your wedding day. I get that. But if you just had her, that's when I would have an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this video playing it. It looks like fake 16 millimeter. So maybe she shot it with like an iPhone and then threw a preset of some kind on it. To give it that look. Here's my take on fads. Like I'm not a big fan of chasing fads, and I think that the reason that the 1970s and 1960s aesthetic in photos is like popular is because it reminds you of the 1960s and 70s. But in the 1960s and 70s, when they were shooting that stuff, they weren't trying to copy the 1820s and the 1840s type weddings. Not the 1820s, but so I think you should use what's around today. And there's a reason we never chase trends, like printing everything metallic. Well, that looked terrible after a while, right?
I did that. I have a lot of prints that were metallic. And I look back and I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
it was cool for the time. And like, are you bringing back the 80s aesthetic where everybody had a medium format camera and popped off massive amounts of lights with these very set up shots, right? Like, I get it, but I think you should also just live in the now and capture with what we have today, because in 50 years, whatever that aesthetic was now might be something they try to copy then, but they should still stick to, living in the moment.
I think if I took this approach of trying to get that nostalgic look, why not just take actual true photographs like you would normally do in 2025 with a real professional camera, and then run it through a filter or tweak it in post to try and achieve that same look. So when you do look back, you could always reverse it. You can undo the shitty style that might be really out of style by the time you look back at these photos, and reverse that fad, that trend.
100%. They look great. Like the regular photos, they look freaking fantastic.
Oh, she looks amazing. Yeah.
And Benny Blanco looks Jewish, but he's like really, I hear he's super fun. He did a Benny Blanco bar mitzvah in Philly a couple years ago at Zahav. It was just a party that they did, and it was pretty cool. I wasn't invited, but it was pretty cool. I heard from people that went.
She's on that show, Only Murders in the Building, right? With
I still have never watched it.
I've never watched it either.
My dad says it's good.
With Steve Martin and
Martin Short.
Martin Short, yeah.
My dad says it's good.
It's on season like 4 or 5 right now.
Something I need to watch. I think she was also in one of those. What's that? Not pedophile guy's name? Woody Allen. Allegedly Woody Allen. Selena Gomez movie, A Rainy Day in New York.
I don't know that one.
Dude, Woody Allen he's hit or miss on movies. I mean, I will say that he was miss on Blue Jasmine. I thought was absolutely horrible, but I love so many of the Woody Allen movies. I really like them. And this one with Selena Gomez was funny also, and I just really liked it. Whatever.
Fun fact, Selena Gomez was one of the first artists that I photographed in like an actual arena back in 2009.
Did she hit on you?
9? No.
Did she say call you maybe?
No Carly Rae Jepsen moment. But yeah, she looked great back then, still looks great today. She was probably only 20, 18 at the time, something like that. She's a little younger than me.
She's a billionaire, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She did it right, for sure. I do remember her being very, very nice. Extremely nice backstage.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. That's all you hope for.
Yeah. So anyway, let's put that to rest. Let's move on to another piece of photo news, which is Sony went ahead and released a new macro, a 100 millimeter macro 2.8, which replaces a 10-year-old 90 millimeter macro, which was kind of a piece of shit.
I wasn't on this call. Did they actually say it does replace it? It won't be sold in line with the 90 mil? Because that's a G versus this is a G Master now.
Well,
I would assume this is the replacement, but it's not really a direct replacement or version 2.
Just that anytime you ever talk to anybody about macro when it came to shooting Sony, they're like, I don't know, use the Sigma 100 macro.
Yeah.
Because the Sony 90 isn't very good. And it just really focus-wise wasn't very good. So do you want to go into what this new lens brings?
Yeah, so this is a G Master, which means better weather sealing, faster focusing, better coatings, better optics, more elements. And as with all macros, this one is all about magnification. But most standard macro lenses are like a 1:1. I believe Nikon's is a 1:1. I think Canon's is a 1:4.
Well, you mean 1.4 to 1?
1.4
is Canon.
Yes. This is also a 1.4 to 1 native magnification. But the difference here is you can go all the way up to 2.8 times magnification if you use Sony's teleconverters, which is pretty rare to be able to use a teleconverter on a macro lens. I don't believe Nikon or Canon can do that. So you could put the 1.4 TC on it and basically get a 2:1 magnification. Or if you put the 2X, again, you can get a 2.8 to 1 magnification, which is incredible for macro work. I mean, this combined with focus stacking, you're going to get some crazy macro images out of it.
Yeah.
I know Laowa does a pretty good job with high magnification type macro lenses, especially their specialty probe lenses that we have upstairs that are like 2x magnification and greater. I actually have been using them, by the way, lately for a lot of the B-roll for like the GFX intro, the 100RF intro, the Sigma BF, the C50. I've been using that to get super close-up images of the cameras and the lenses. And
I didn't know this.
I've only been doing it for the past, I don't know, month or two.
Yeah.
I busted them out one day and I'm like, wow, these look great. Now, granted, the color's off and I usually have to bump up the lights like crazy because they're like a T8 lens, but you get some really interesting, unique angles, especially because, again, these are greater than 2x magnification probe lenses. So,
can I say something about Laowa?
Yeah.
They're the ones coming out with that 200 f2, right?
Yes.
They're sending me one. Do you know which one? Do you know which one I asked for?
What mount? Z mount?
No, I asked for EF.
Oh, they're making it an EF.
And they're making it an EF to adapt it to the cameras and have it autofocus.
Okay. Interesting.
I didn't want a Sony one again. I didn't want something for Sony.
Yeah. I just wonder how many people are actually going to buy an EF version.
Yeah, but I'm just testing I asked them which one was the sharpest, and they said the sharpest that from their feedback they're getting is like the Sony, and that Nikon wasn't as sharp, but it's the same lens just with a different mount. So it's like, is it designed for mirrorless? Is it not designed for mirrorless? Because they're not making 3 different versions of the lens. They're making just the lens and different mounts.
Didn't they make an RF version of like a 10 millimeter or something?
And then they got sued?
And then they got sued? Yeah, something like that.
I don't recall. Can I say something, Steven? Because I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
This just brings up something. A lot of people, I saw someone leave a comment on our A7C2 video yesterday. Versus
CR, you mean?
A7CR.
Versus the RX1R3 comparison. Yes, we just put that out this week.
I have the A7CR and I'm not happy at 100 ISO. My quality looks bad. And they're listing the lenses that they're using. They listed like a Viltrox, a Laowa, and I'm sitting there going, well, one, you shouldn't be getting noise and grain at 100 ISO. But 2, it's possible that those lenses are not going to pair very well with a 61 megapixel super high resolution sensor. They may not be able to resolve the quality. And it's just like, it's human error. When you see stuff like that, it's human error. It's not the camera.
I think the comment you're referring to was about like color noise. They were talking about seeing a lot of noise, right? Even though they're shooting at 100 ISO. I would assume that's a post-processing error. Like they were severely underexposed and bumped it up 4 stops and then questioned why are their images so noisy? Because there's absolutely no way at base ISO with a proper exposure that you're seeing any noise.
No.
And if there's it might be slight grain from zooming in 1 billion% in post or cropping.
I also want to say, these third-party lenses haven't been around very long. And I'm talking not Sigma, not Tamron. So the big question becomes, well, what if there is an issue with the lens? What do you do with it? Because we don't know the long-term build quality of some of this stuff.
Not much product support either.
Right. When you buy a Nikon, a Canon, a Sony lens, and we saw it at the Canon factory, what goes into testing to make sure that this stuff works time and time again. The other manufacturers are going to do the same thing. Sigma's going to do the same thing. Tamron's going to do the same thing. But I know someone who had a third-party lens at the boot camp, the last one that we had, and it stopped working while they were here. And it was a couple of years old, but it physically stopped working. And they're like, well, what do I do? And they reached out to the company and they're like, well, you have to send it back to China to get it repaired. And it's like, well, how the hell do I do that?
Yeah.
So it's just like, you have to be careful because there is a reason, there is a peace of mind that comes with buying the first party glass.
It's the risk you run when you buy third party, or like we like to say, fourth party China lenses.
You guys are very mean for calling fourth party. It's not really third party.
Again, I think Sigma and Tamron are way ahead of the game. They've been doing this for many, many years. They have technical support in the US. It's a lot different than dealing with, again, like you're saying, you have to send it back to China.
Yeah. So what else? I mean, they threw everything at this macro lens.
Yeah. So again, it's a G Master. It's got all the high end specs, 11 bladed circular aperture. It's got 4 XD linear focus motors, which is Sony's fastest. So now it can keep up with the A9 III with 120 frames per second, or if you're doing like 4K 120p video, I think they said it's nearly 2 times faster than the 90 millimeter macro focus wise.
Yeah. Can I say something about another thing about third party that gets lost, especially on Sony mounts?
Okay.
Is, people rip on Canon for not having third party support from Sigma yet on full frame, but coming out with their own lenses. But there's always a limitation. And on Sony puts a limitation on those Sigma lenses. You cannot continually autofocus while zooming with a Sigma lens on Sony, which I find to be a super detriment to shooting.
Yeah.
More so than a detriment of who cares? 15 frames a second is plenty fast. Plenty fast. And if you own an A9 III and an A1 and you're shooting at 30 and 120 frames a second, you should be able to afford buying the better glass. But the ability, Sony doesn't get enough shit for locking down the system to not allow you to continuously autofocus while zooming. So I just wanted to say
Is that a Sony limitation though? Or is that a Sigma limitation?
Has to be. It has to be. They limit it. They have to be. Because you should be able to continually autofocus. And maybe it's like their motors aren't capable of doing it. But there is a difference between first party and third party.
Yeah. Back to this lens, though, it has OSS, has an aperture ring with a D-click click switch. I find it interesting, the sliding focus ring they have, which you can then switch to manual focus for fine-tuning focus, which is ideal for also macro work. Dual custom function buttons, 67mm filter thread, and it comes in about $1,500. But do keep in mind that if you want to purchase those TCs to really go crazy with the magnification, that's another $600 each. Each. If it was me, I'd buy just the 2X. But this is the only time that I would probably use a TC for macro work like this, especially to get that 2X magnification. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
We'll have to test it out. My neighbor has the lens right now. I haven't gotten it from them yet.
Oh.
Well, because UPS showed up at 5:48 yesterday, about 20 minutes after I left, and they knocked on my neighbor's door because I was like, see if my neighbor's home. So I have to just go knock on the door and grab it.
Well, and also with this whole announcement for the Sony 100 macro, way different than Sony has been doing in the past. We didn't get the lens. Really, nobody got the lens beforehand. We were briefed a day beforehand. Sony has been switching all of this up lately. So,
well, because we saw a comment was like, why aren't you reviewing the 100 macro?
Nobody is.
I just don't like when people make those definitive statements without, basically ignorant statements. Ignorant meaning uneducated, ill-informed about the situation.
Yeah.
Sony in the past would send stuff out a month in advance. Well, they're switching it up now, and they are doing day before announcements or briefings and not even sending stuff.
And that's been the case for the RX1R3, the FX2, basically the last couple Sony briefings. It was day before. So we will eventually get something out on this lens, but it will be a few weeks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it's more like the old school way of doing stuff. The old school way of doing what I like to do back in the day is Canon would have an announcement or Sony or Nikon would have an announcement, and then I would sit down and do a preview at my desk because they never sent anything early to anybody. Back in those days, in the 2010s, 2011, 13 era, they didn't precede any cameras. No one ever got early hands-on. Mm-hmm. So I would do a video about the specs, and then they would mail us a real version that you could then review on your own time to then get out. So we actually got more views based off of that because people wanted to hear what we had to say. So, Sony is choosing to do what Sony's choosing to do. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. It's different. That's the thing is it's different than what it's been. So change is always different and you always, question it, but they have an idea of what they're trying to do. And I don't know what the other companies will, if they'll follow suit or not. So this is what we got. Oh, do you know that lens, do you know how it goes to manual focus? Did you see that?
No, I haven't touched it yet. Your neighbor
Me either,
touched it.
Because my neighbor has it. My neighbor has it. It's one of those pull forward.
Yeah,
lock
it has a little clutch where you can override autofocus to manual
which
quickly.
makes sense for manual, which makes sense for macro.
So I deal with the Canon RF 100 macro all the time. Most of the beauty shots, we call them, of the products, if you see a spinning shot of the lens or a close-up shot of the camera or parts of the camera, whatever, I'm usually shooting that on the 100 macro. I am constantly overriding into manual focus because when you're focusing on things that close, it tends to rack a lot. Let's just say that when you're doing autofocus. So I'm usually overriding into manual most of the time and tweaking from there.
Yeah.
That's for most macro work.
Yep. So I'll go get it from my neighbor. I'll start to fire it up. I'm going to shoot some. You know what I was thinking of shooting?
What's in your pants?
Not my pants, someone else's pants.
Oh,
But
hey.
I can't post
What's his
those.
name?
You've seen those before, right?
Yes, I have seen them. Yes, I've seen your bad pictures, your naughty pictures.
They're not naughty pictures. It's art, Steven.
That's what you call them.
It's macro of a very specific portion of a female.
Oh man,
It's really nice stuff.
you're
I'm a
reminding me
big
of a
fan.
certain photographer. What?
No. He doesn't even do stuff like that. This stuff is like art, Steven. Art.
The great thing about this, though, is you don't have to just use it for macro. You can use it for portraits and stuff like that. Granted, I've owned a macro lens pretty much my entire
for portraits.
photographic career, and I've really never taken portraits on a 100-2.8 macro lens.
Because it's not that good.
I mean, you could. Just saying.
No, of course you can.
Yeah. I just always would bust out like a 85-1.2 or something like that. I prefer that look, but it's definitely
Nikon
possible.
had a 180 2.8 ED back in the day, which was like a really big deal. 2.8.
Canon had a 183.5 or something EF macro.
Well, that's a piece of shit. No, this wasn't. I'm not talking about macro. I'm talking
I
about
thought you
just a
meant
straight
macro.
up 180. No, 180. So anyway, we got to wrap this up like a, I don't know, like a escort wraps it up, I guess. I don't know what that
Good
means. Hey. Anything you want to leave us with, Steven? You doing anything fun this weekend?
I am hanging out with some old radio friends.
They still exist?
Yeah. Wendy, you know her. Her husband, Paul. Yeah. They're coming over.
Wendy Rollins here for Radio 104.5. There's a big show tonight down the street at the Fillmore, and
Why does she have a Philly accent all of a sudden?
I don't know. You know what's funny? When I'm like making fun of things, I generally slip into South Park. It was like, you didn't really know that it was a big deal? You didn't know that it was such a big deal that you were going to be coming down the street? And then you just like failed. And I don't even know what's wrong with you.
It's more specifically like the Cartman South Park character because he was always trying to defend his actions.
Cal, I know that it's Yom Kippur.
Did you watch the latest one, by the way?
No, I need to watch a bunch of
It's
them.
about Kyle's mom. Let's just say that.
Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. Like a virgin wraps it up.
I just see your face. You're like trying to think of something.
All right. I gotta go do stuff.
All right,
guys. Thank you very much for listening, guys. This is RAWtalk episode 171. Jared Polin, Photo.com. See ya.
Bye.